Rookie Skirmish. The Novice Steel Longsword competition rules. The target area includes only the head, the body, and the upper arms or shoulders down to the elbow joints. There are 3 zones within the target location that are forbidden: the back of the head, the spine, the groin. The materiality of the hit. The hit must land on the valid target and with sufficient quality, within the time allotted by the director. Hits may be scored with the point, thrust, or the blade, cut or draw cut, including half-sword strikes. The quality of a hit is determined by the following. Edge geometry: only cuts with the edge may score. Hits with the flat of the blade do not have quality and will not score. One-handed strikes do not score. Blade placement: only cuts scoring with the upper half, foible, of the blade will be considered of quality. Hits with the forte do not have quality and will not score. Rotation: only cuts with significant rotation may score. A simple touching of the target area may not have quality and will not score. The draw cut is correctly executed when at least half the sword edge is continuously pulled across the target. Half sword and pommel strikes must be executed with control. If half sword or pommel strike are performed without control, the red card will be issued and the fighter will lose 1 point. Illegal strikes. While historically accurate, for the safety of competition, the following techniques are prohibited and will be punished under the rules. Any hit with the crossguard, or forte of the weapon. Any cut or thrust with excessive force. Any cut that originates from behind the fighter or, so-called giant windmill strikes. Any strike to a prohibited target zone. A pommel strike, performed while holding or otherwise restricting the movement of the opponent's head. Additional illegal maneuvers. Wrestling, tripping, bars, and locks are not permitted. Strikes with the offhand as hits with a fist or elbow are not permitted. Strikes with the feet as kicks with a foot or ankle are not permitted. Strikes on a fallen opponent are not permitted. Takedowns or throws are not permitted. Disarming an opponent. If a fighter is disarmed or drops their weapon during the combat, their opponent will be awarded a point. Exceptions. If the weapon was let go during a thrust toward to incoming opponent, to avoid a hard strike. If the weapon was dropped to grab the opponent's weapon. If the weapon was dropped due to excessive power use of the opponent in push out of boundary action. Afterblows. Fighters must always protect themselves, even after performing a valid strike. Hits that occur immediately after a valid strike or so-called afterblow are legal and will be counted. Afterblows that occur over 1 second after the valid hit, aka reaction strike, will be considered late, and not counted. The director decides if the afterblow is within the time. Double hits. If both fighters make a valid hit at the same time, no points will be awarded. Running onto the sword. If a fighter is in a position with the point of the sword directed at the opponent's chest or head, the fighter is said to be in the inline position. If a fighter is in an inline position, the opponent must try to remove the threatening line. If they run onto the sword point without doing so, it potentially creates a safety hazard, and may be penalized under the rules. A yellow card will be issued if the president determines that the action was unsafe. However, if a fighter is in the inline position and thrusts forward or deceives the opponent's attack, despite being hit, the running onto the sword penalty will not apply. Grappling. While wrestling, tripping, throws, unarmed strikes, and joint or body locks are not permitted, fighters may engage in grappling. Grappling is defined as hand play to control the opponent's weapon, ability to control their weapon, maneuver to gain a favorable position, and attempt to disarm the opponent. If, during the grapple, the fighting becomes confused or a stalemate is achieved, the director will stop the combat. Exceptions from the hands touches scoring rule. While in the novice longsword competition, hands touches are not scored. To avoid the abuse of the rule, we've included a few exceptions. A point is awarded to the attacker when the defender uses hands to block the opponent's strike. A point is awarded to the defender when the attacker performs high strikes. In that case, even if the attacker landed the hit or cut on the opponent's valid target area, the point will be awarded to the defender. A point will be awarded to the attacker if the blade is grabbed or blocked by a defender's hand during the cut action. The fighter gets the point by pulling the blade from the grip as cutting the hand.